Understanding that legal standard and having had discussions with your attorneys, do you hereby waive your right to your preliminary hearing?
Yes.
This is NBA Youngboy, a rapper known for delivering the raw truth about street life through his music. Now, with his freedom on the line, the world is watching as he faces some serious legal troubles. But what exactly got him locked up? Was it a bad choice? Or just a cruel twist of fate? What must be going through his mind as he stares down the possibility of years in prison? And how did other rappers react when they heard the news? Stick around. You're about to find out. NBA Youngboy, the renowned rapper known for his intense and impactful music, had a notable moment in court as the judge was about to decide his fate. In a rare display, the usually serious rapper, born Kentrell Deshaun Gaulden, broke into a smile. Rising from the streets of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, NBA Youngboy quickly made a name for himself in the music industry. His raw and relatable lyrics resonated with millions, catapulting him to early fame. However, with success came legal troubles that threatened to derail his career. His path to the courtroom was anything but smooth, marked by a series of legal battles, ranging from minor offenses to serious charges. As his court date approached, fans and critics alike were anxious. The stakes were high, with the possibility of prison time looming over his career. On the day of the hearing, the courthouse was packed with media and curious onlookers, all tense with anticipation. This moment was more than just a verdict for NBA Youngboy. It was a reflection of how the justice system treats celebrities. The proceedings began with the usual formalities as the First Judicial District Court of Utah Cache County called the case State of Utah versus Kentrell Deshaun Gaulden. The attorneys stepped forward, Aaron J.Y. representing the state, and Zach and Drew Fining standing for NBA Youngboy. NBA Youngboy was escorted by officers to his trial for prescription fraud. As he walked in, he spotted his lawyer and cracked a smile, clearly confident in the power of his money. He took a seat with his legal team, who quickly filled him in on the day's strategy. The preliminary hearing was about to start, but there had already been some behind-the-scenes negotiations. Drew Findling, his lawyer, announced that they would waive the hearing in exchange for bail, set at $100,000, which could be secured through a bonding company.
And I've explained those negotiations to Mr. Gaulden. We are going to waive a preliminary hearing in this matter. In exchange for that, a bond will be set at $100,000.
This meant NBA Youngboy could wait for his trial outside of jail. Now, for any other lawyer, this might have been a risky move, but Finning was a seasoned pro who knew exactly what he was doing. Judge Spencer D.W. reviewed the agreement with both sides, and Mr. Keller, the prosecutor for the state, agreed. The judge then spoke directly to NBA Youngboy, making sure he understood the decision. Youngboy didn't hesitate and confidently said yes, fully trusting his lawyer's judgment. With that, he waived his right to the preliminary hearing.
Understanding that legal standard and having had discussions with your attorneys, do you hereby waive your right to your preliminary hearing?
Yes.
The judge agreed to his waiver, set the bail, and scheduled another hearing about 60 days later. He even allowed the defense team to appear remotely if necessary. Throughout the hearing, NBA Youngboy remained composed, answering questions carefully with the help of his skilled attorneys. But when it became clear he'd be released on bail, a relieved smile broke out on his face. A smile that said he knew he'd just gotten his money's worth. Many rappers, just like Youngboy, have found themselves in court facing charges for crimes they've committed. YFN Lucci. One rapper who had a tough time recently was YFN Lucci, born Rayshawn Bennett. He was staring down a potential sentence that could have ended his career. It looked like he was ready to plead guilty and let the judge decide his fate. But despite facing some heavy charges like racketeering and felony tied to the Bloods, Lucci sat there with a subtle smile on his face, looking from one defense attorney to the other.
Count 81, aggravated assault. The minimum's 1 year, maximum 20 years. Count 82.
All right, let's break this down. So, on the day of Lucci's plea deal, the courtroom was pretty intense, but Lucci kept his cool, totally confident in his ace legal team. His smile was almost like a little rebellious stand against the gravity of the situation. His attorney, Drew Findling, managed to get 12 out of the 13 charges dropped, which is seriously impressive. With Findling's help, Lucci ended up agreeing to a plea deal for just one gang-related charge, and the felony charge was dropped. Findling played his cards right by highlighting Lucci's clean record and the support from the victim's family, making the case that Lucci was just a guy who ended up in a tough spot. So the deal was set. Lucci would serve 10 years in prison and then another 10 years on probation. During probation, he has to steer clear of gang activities, can't have any guns, and must keep a steady job. Even with these serious consequences, Findling is optimistic about Lucci's future. In a recent Pitchfork interview, Findling hinted that Lucci could be out of jail in just a few months. He went on to say that, as he has maintained for 3 years now, Mr. Bennett will not cooperate in any other case. By entering into this resolution, he will be eligible for parole in as early as 4 months from now, Findling said in a statement to TMZ. The prosecution has also agreed that he should be released early on parole, and this will allow him to get back to his children, family, and career. YNW Melly. Another big name in the hip-hop world who's had his share of legal troubles is YNW Melly. He went through a high-profile trial that had everyone talking. He was charged with 2 counts of first-degree for the deaths of his friends, Anthony Williams and Christopher Thomas Jr. What really caught people's attention was Melly's behavior during the trial. Despite the gravity of the charges, he remained eerily calm and even smiled at times, which fascinated the public. He often showed up in dark suits, and his demeanor was almost nonchalant as the prosecution laid out their case and presented evidence. He seemed unbothered and sometimes even laughed during the proceedings. His calmness became a major talking point, with many questioning how he could stay so collected under such serious allegations, leading people to doubt his mental state and sincerity. In the courtroom, Melly was often seen praying and blowing kisses, even as the proceedings continued around him. He was constantly engaged with his legal team, leaning in to hear important points or confirm strategies, showing he was deeply involved in his defense. You could spot him frequently whispering to his attorneys or passing notes, which highlighted his awareness of the trial's seriousness. During crucial moments, like when surveillance footage was reviewed, Melly had small reactions, such as nodding to an unseen rhythm. These gestures were closely watched and sometimes interpreted as signs of nervousness or detachment. As the trial went on, his behavior subtly changed, revealing moments of vulnerability.
Sorry.
In some recently released court footage, you can see Melly quietly reassuring his mom that he's doing okay, even telling her to put on a smile for him. The defense painted Melly as a young guy who just found himself in a tough spot, highlighting his involvement in the trial and questioning how literally his lyrics should be taken. The trial wasn't just about legal arguments, it also focused on Melly's behavior and how it shaped public opinion and media coverage. Young Thug. Even top-earning rappers like Young Thug, whose real name is Jeffrey Lamar Williams, aren't immune to legal troubles. When he faced a trial for gang-related charges, he found himself in court with his future hanging in the balance. In a surprising twist, his song Lifestyle was played as evidence against him. The prosecution tried to link his lyrics to criminal behavior, which sparked a lot of controversy. Many rappers and fans spoke out against this move, questioning whether using his music as evidence crossed a line. As Young Thug's song filled the courtroom, it raised important questions about how art reflects or influences behavior with his lyrics, blending personal experiences with artistic flair, being scrutinized for their literal meanings and real-world impact. His face was a mix of stubbornness and shock, grabbing everyone's attention as the legal arguments heated up.
Information was come held in contempt. Well, I'm not answering that question. That's attorney-client privilege information. I am not answering
attorney-client privilege. Unless you were in my chambers, that's the only way you can figure out.
I am telling
I tell you what, I'm going to give you 5 minutes. If you don't tell me, if you don't tell me who it is, I'm going to put you. I'm going to put you in contempt because That is not attorney-client.
So Brian Steele, the lawyer for Young Thug, ended up getting arrested for not playing by the rules and showing contempt. The prosecution argued that his lyrics were basically admissions of criminal behavior. Prosecutor Mike Carlson made the case that the lyrics are being used to prove the nature of YSL as a racketeering enterprise, the expectations of YSL as a criminal street gang. We've got party admissions for even the offensive here. This is evidentiary use. The defense really emphasized the importance of artistic freedom and the First Amendment. They warned that targeting rap music could lead to artists censoring themselves and stifling their creativity. Defense attorney Doug Weinstein made this point clear, arguing that there is art here, and the art has got to be separated from real life. What Mr. Kendrick is singing about is what he grew up around. What else is he supposed to sing about? He's not going to sing the Monkey's Daydream Believer. He's not going to write about puppies and rainbows and unicorns. The public and media had a big reaction, with fans, colleagues, and companies all showing support for Young Thug. Meanwhile, critics were torn over the legal handling of his music, and the trial sparked debates on racial bias, the First Amendment, and how the justice system treats minority communities. Similarly, other rappers like Youngboy have had their careers overshadowed by legal issues. Authorities, working with the FBI, allege that Youngboy was involved in a scheme to illegally obtain promethazine with codeine, often a for its psychoactive effects. They used stolen physician identities and fake prescriptions to get the from pharmacies in Utah. 2 women linked to Youngboy were arrested while trying to pick up a prescription, directly tying him to the fraud. He also made matters worse by contacting authorities using a disguised voice. The charges against Youngboy are serious. Possession of a dangerous weapon as a convicted felon could lead to up to 10 years in prison. The charge of unlawful activity, which suggests ongoing criminal behavior, is a second-degree felony in Utah, carrying a potential sentence of 1 to 15 years and fines up to $10,000 per count. Identity fraud is a third-degree felony in Utah, with each count punishable by up to 5 years in prison and fines up to $5,000. With 20 counts, Youngboy could face a significant cumulative sentence. Procurement and forgery are also third-degree felonies, with similar penalties. Additionally, possession of a Class B misdemeanor, could result in up to 6 months in jail and fines up to $11,000. Sentences can be served either consecutively, meaning one after another, which could result in decades in prison, or concurrently, allowing multiple sentences to be served at the same time, potentially reducing the total prison time. If NBA Youngboy is labeled as the ringleader, he might face more severe penalties. His previous convictions and the ongoing federal gun case could also impact how tough his sentence turns out to be. His legal troubles are serious. If he's found guilty on all charges, he could be facing life-altering consequences. But his defense attorney, Drew Findling, is on a mission to secure the best possible deal for him. Drew Findling, known as the billion-dollar lawyer, is a standout in criminal defense. With a reputation for getting high-profile clients, especially in the rap and sports worlds, out of tricky legal situations, he's made a name for himself by rescuing clients from serious legal trouble. His skills and past victories make him a top choice for celebrities facing big challenges. Drew Findling's journey kicked off back in the halls of Emory Law School, and from the start, he was making waves. Early in his career, he scored some major wins that quickly marked him as a top-notch lawyer. His clients are drawn to his bold defense strategies and his knack for finding reasonable doubt, even in tough cases. But what really makes him stand out is his personal touch. He doesn't just tackle their legal battles, but also understands the heavy public scrutiny they face. One of the standout clients of this lawyer is NBA Youngboy. Drew Findling has been a game changer for Youngboy, turning what could have been major setbacks into wins with his sharp legal tactics. But Youngboy isn't his only high-profile client. He also represents DaBaby, another huge rap star who faced a serious civil trial in December 2022. The case could have really hurt DaBaby's career, but with this top-notch lawyer in his corner, DaBaby walked away victorious, proving the lawyer's skill in handling tricky legal situations. And it's not just music stars who benefit from this lawyer's expertise. He's also worked with sports legends like Shaquille O'Neal. When Shaq was caught up in a civil case that threatened his public image, the lawyer's defense team came through, keeping Shaq's reputation intact. This really highlights how effective this lawyer is at protecting his clients' names and careers across different industries. But that's not all. This lawyer has also handled cases for NFL stars like Adam Pacman Jones. Jones had his share of legal troubles, from assault to disorderly conduct, and it was crucial for his lawyer to navigate these issues skillfully. The successful handling of Jones's case not only safeguarded his career, but also his public image. Drew Findling's track record is filled with high-profile cases, solidifying his status as one of the top defense attorneys in the nation. So, let's dive into some of Drew Fining's standout moments. Back in 2007, he defended the rap legend T.I. when T.I. was hit with serious federal gun charges that could have derailed his career. Thanks to Fining's strategic legal maneuvering, T.I. ended up with a plea deal that slashed his potential prison time, letting him keep his career on track with minimal interruption. Then there was Gucci Mane's legal saga. Over the years, Gucci Mane faced a string of serious charges, including assault and weapon possession. Fining's relentless defense tactics played a huge role in securing favorable outcomes, which allowed Gucci Mane to continue thriving both professionally and personally. Drew Fining has also represented other big names like Cardi B and Waka Flocka. Plus, he was tapped to represent Donald Trump in the criminal investigation into election interference in Georgia following the 2020 election. Through all these high-profile cases, Fining has shown an incredible ability to navigate complex legal situations, turning potential disasters into manageable challenges. His skill in handling media relations is as impressive as his courtroom tactics, making sure public perception stays favorable even when the stakes are high. Fining's success comes from not just his legal expertise but also his strategic savvy. He knows how to turn legal battles into compelling stories that capture public interest and steer the case towards a positive outcome. His extensive network and media insights are key to his clients' successes, and each high-profile case he takes on not only boosts his reputation but also shapes the legal landscape. For Fining, the courtroom is like a stage where he performs justice with a flair for spectacle, keeping both the public and his clients engaged and hopeful. For NBA Youngboy, having a lawyer like Drew Fining is pretty crucial given his history of legal troubles. His past has been pretty tumultuous, with a series of run-ins with the law and ongoing legal battles. Youngboy's early years were rough. He had a neck injury as a toddler that hinted at the difficulties to come. With his father serving a 55-year prison sentence, his life was unstable. He was raised by his grandmother, but after her death in 2010, he had to fend for himself on the tough streets. Struggling in school, he dropped out in 9th grade and decided to dive into music. With limited resources, he borrowed a mic from a friend and started recording, pouring his pain and experiences into his music. His legal issues began when he was just 14, getting arrested for robbery and carjacking, which landed him 6 months in juvenile detention. This was a turning point for him. While in detention, he used the time to focus on writing lyrics and honing his craft inspired by his mom. After getting out, Youngboy was more determined than ever to make it in music, but his freedom was short-lived. In November 2016, as his career was picking up with the release of his mixtape Life Before Fame, he was arrested again for attempted related to a drive-by shooting. He spent time in prison before posting bail, but even after that, he continued to face legal issues. He was later arrested again for allegedly firing on a group of people in Baton Rouge, facing serious charges of attempted first-degree. With a hefty $200,000 bond, his budding career was hanging in the balance, with severe consequences on the horizon. While he was behind bars, NBA Youngboy kept the music coming, staying connected with his fans, even as he faced serious legal troubles. In August 2017, he appeared in front of District Judge Bonnie Jackson, who decided to suspend his 10-year prison sentence and put him on 3 years of probation instead. He showed genuine remorse and a desire to change, wanting to put his troubled past behind him for the sake of his family and his career. This deal allowed him to leave prison, but it came with strict probation conditions. One wrong move could land him back behind bars. This experience had a profound impact on him, shaping his music in deep ways. Songs like Untouchable and No Smoke really showcase his pain and the harsh realities he faced, becoming anthems for many fans who related to his struggles. As his fame grew, so did the spotlight on his personal life. Despite ongoing legal issues, he stayed focused on his music, and his determination to rise above it all became a major theme in his work, resonating with a generation that admired his resilience. In 2018, NBA Youngboy released his debut studio album, Until Death Call My Name, which skyrocketed him to fame. But shortly after, he was arrested again in Tallahassee, Florida, on serious charges of kidnapping and assault stemming from a hotel incident involving his then-girlfriend, Ja Jackson. This led to a media frenzy and added to his already complicated legal situation, especially after earlier accusations of assault and weapons violations. Following a probation violation, he was placed under house arrest for 14 months, which meant no public performances or visits to recording studios. However, the judge allowed him to record music at home, attend church, see a doctor, and go to the bank. During this time, he turned his home into a makeshift studio, using the restrictions to fuel his creativity. His music became deeply introspective, reflecting his isolation and personal struggles. Instead of slowing down, he released mixtapes and EPs that solidified his reputation as a raw and authentic voice in rap. Despite more legal issues in 2019 and 2020, including another probation violation that extended his house arrest, NBA Youngboy continued to adapt. He set up a home studio and released successful projects like AI Youngboy 2 and 38 Baby 2. While house arrest limited his ability to tour and promote his music in the usual ways, he used social media and digital platforms to keep his momentum going, proving his resilience and ingenuity. In March 2021, he faced another major legal challenge when he was arrested in Los Angeles on a federal gun possession warrant linked to a 2020 incident in Baton Rouge, where authorities discovered firearms and during a video shoot. After a high-speed chase, police found a pistol and ammunition in his vehicle. Youngboy's defense argued he was unaware of the warrant and didn't own the firearm. The trial was intense, with prosecutors portraying him as a habitual offender, while his defense claimed he was being unfairly targeted. In a significant win for him, the judge ruled that his rap lyrics couldn't be used against him in court, acknowledging the potential for bias. After a short deliberation, the jury found him not guilty of possessing a firearm and ammunition as a felon. Even with this legal win, Youngboy's troubles were far from over. He was still dealing with a federal gun case in Louisiana, where his legal team argued that he was being unfairly targeted by the authorities. On top of that, in 2022, he faced charges for having an unregistered firearm. His defense claimed the gun belonged to someone else, as he continued to fight against these accusations. This case was just another layer in his already complicated legal battles, which were taking a toll on him personally. After a tragic shooting at Sunny Isles Beach that claimed an innocent bystander's life, Youngboy expressed deep regret, even wishing he had been the one hit by the stray bullet. It was a moment of raw vulnerability for him. Youngboy's legal issues didn't just affect him professionally, but also put strain on his personal life. His relationships and the birth of his children were constantly under public scrutiny, adding even more stress. Despite all this, he stayed dedicated to his music, using it as an outlet for his emotions and experiences. His honest and heartfelt lyrics resonated with a growing audience, and the support from his fans helped him keep his career on track, even while under house arrest. The probation violation and house arrest were significant turning points for Youngboy, prompting him to reflect on his actions and their consequences. This period of confinement led to personal growth and a better understanding of his influence and responsibilities. Even within these constraints, his music thrived, turning adversity into a powerful form of artistic expression. Youngboy's resilience through all these struggles proves that he can bounce back no matter what challenges come his way. If you enjoyed this video, stay tuned for our next one. Thanks for watching.